Hey guys, and welcome to Tnashi's Movie Corner. This is the movie news segment. It's going to be quite different from how I used to do them. In fact, I'm only going to take one topic and discuss that topic and how I feel about it. So I'm going to pick one thing from the news, could be from last week, could be from this week. As it turns out, it is going to be more or less old news. But I thought it's a good discussion point. Honestly, I just like the opening. It's short, it's nice, it's got Samurai Champloo, I enjoy it, whatever. So I wanted to keep that. But I thought this was a good way to make it easier for me to talk about some of the stuff that I enjoy talking about, but at the same time, have it where it's less on me to have to do because it took so much effort to do and I didn't get too many people watching it. So for the topic for this one, and I didn't explain all this, and you're going to see the Civil War one first, which was another news topic. So there's a lot of explanation going into the second video when I've already done one, but you get it. Hopefully you understand where it's at. For this one, I want to talk about X-Men Apocalypse because this movie has already been shown to critics, kind of like the way that Avengers did, Disney, Marvel, and with the Avengers. They showed it about a month ahead of time. This one wasn't a month, but they showed it a month ahead of time pretty much to critics, and because they were confident in the movie, and it shows. I mean, it's got a 90% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, which is fantastic for it, and obviously it's made a lot of money. I think it actually, from what it's showing, it's 179.1 million, not 180 like I mentioned. Whatever the number is, it's close to 180, right? So it did a good job. This movie, though, I'll say up front, I was looking forward to this movie, still looking forward to this movie. Look, it's one of those things where it is the third in a trilogy. Those don't always go well, but it's Bryan Singer. He's not given me a bad X-Men film yet. He did X-Men, he did X2, he did Days of Future Past. I think he was a producer on First Class. Can't quite remember, but every movie that he's directed, as far as the X-Men universe is concerned, have been really good. X2 and Days of Future Past are two of my favorite superhero films, period. And X-Men coming out in 2000, I believe, one was like one of the first superhero films, not counting Blade, right out the gate, that set a different tone and a different standard for superhero films. So, and I'm not counting, I mean Batman, of course, and 89 or whatever, that too. But there was a lack in good superhero films leading up to Blade and then the first X-Men and then Spider-Man. So, I'm really looking forward to this film. Of course, you get Apocalypse. I've been wanting to see Apocalypse. Didn't think it was going to happen. Certainly not as soon as it did. Kind of glad they did it this way with Thanos coming up, and then you have Darkseid coming up, and the other equivalent to those two is kind of Apocalypse. He's like the next big thing. So to have him in this film, really cool. Get Angel back, get Psylocke, which looks like Psylocke. Get, a different look for Storm, which we've seen some in the comics, but get Cyclops, get Jean, Jubilee in a cameo kind of thing. Get all these characters back would look really cool. Seems just like a really cool idea going. But is this movie already going to be a failure? That's the question I have for you today. And I'm going to give some reasons why. And we're going to start with the news of it, which is it was screened early for critics. And so far, it's declared rotten on Rotten Tomatoes. It's at 57%, so it's fairly close to being fresh. I think 62 is what it needs to be, or something to be fresh. There's like 35. It says there's 35 fresh and 26 rotten, but it shows up as a rotten score. And there have been a lot of people, I think What the Flick, those people over there, who didn't like the film at all. Thought it was long, dull, boring, what have you. So I don't know. It's hard to say where this movie's gonna fall, but at 57%, being that it isn't fresh at the moment, it could definitely change. But at the moment, being that it's not fresh, is it's very unfortunate for this film. The other thing about this film is it's almost like it's been swept under the rug, in a sense, because there was a lot of attention on Batman v Superman. There's a lot of attention that was on Civil War. This movie is the third in a really good franchise so far. So, by Bryan Singer. The third. And the second one was so well received. You'd think there'd be attention focused on this movie, but it just doesn't appear like it's the case for some reason. It feels like people just don't even know that movie's coming out even. I don't know, there's no hype on this film. So I find it real interesting, and there's people that have seen this movie, critic or what have you, that were enjoyed it overall but were disappointed in it. You have people like Chris Stuckman, who I'm sure y'all know, who loved the film. He gave a fresh rating, which is good. Then you have like John Campea, who again enjoyed the film, but he was disappointed in it. So that that happens. You got John Schnepp and Mark Ellis again, and I think they enjoyed the film overall, but were disappointed in it. The Hollywood Reporter, Entertainment Weekly, IGN did like it, but so many critics, it seems, at the moment. Piri Nimroff from Collider didn't like it. Hated it, in fact. So, I don't know. It's one of those things where there's been some marketing for it. There was controversy on the movie when it was first coming out about the look of Apocalypse and just the overall feel, I guess, of the movie, the whole Power Rangers joke that carried. There doesn't seem to be any hype behind it, despite the success of the previous, two films. So that kind of throws me off too. Like I don't get why there isn't any hype surrounding this movie. You got Fassbender, you got McAvoy back. You got Jennifer Lawrence. I forget her name, but it's Sophia Turner, I believe, for Game of Thrones, for people that like Game of Thrones. Olivia Munn. So, and I'm sure there's others. Oscar Isaacs as Apocalypse. It's just one of those things where I kind of wonder if this film isn't just going to fail outright. And again, people could be fatigued. Casual fans could be fatigued by this many superhero films. That could definitely play a small part. I don't think it play a big part, but it could play a small part. But given the reviews for this film and giving the word of mouth that's already been carried over on the rating of the film and the disappointment of the film, unless this changes and they're able to recover, they have a couple weeks. And given the amount of hype that I don't feel is surrounding this film, and again, marketing hasn't been pushing as strong either, so maybe marketing is going to be pushing better the sooner we get to it, within this week, next week. They have to really push it, but maybe they will. I certainly don't want to see any more, but maybe people need to see more to even know that it's coming out. But it just feels like there's a lot of things going on here. And there's a lot of things almost working against this film in many ways. So, very curious as to whether people will see it or not. I'll certainly see it, but I guess the real question is, will you guys see it? Are you looking forward to it? Despite the problems and concerns that have been shown for this movie so far, are you hyped for it? Like, where does it fall on kind of your radar? Because a lot of people saw Deadpool. A lot of people were looking forward to Batman v Superman. A lot of people looking forward to Civil War, but for some reason, Suicide Squad. But this movie gets overlooked, and I'm curious as to why. But anyway, yeah. So that's my second topic of discussion on this movie news. Hopefully you enjoyed this vid. Click that like button, share, subscribe to my channel, comment below, and enjoy my vids. I do appreciate it. And until next time, man, I gotta rest. Peace.